Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Trace Pirtle, and we got Randy Brown here. We're going to be talking with you today, first in our first podcast for UR Irreplaceable. And I don't know if anyone has ever said that to you or not. And if they haven't, Randy and I are saying that to you right now. You are irreplaceable. And if you ever wonder, well, why are these two crazy guys, even talking about this? Why would they be, reminding me of something that you should already know? And so we wanted to tell you about where this kind of got its origins, and we're going to rewind the tape and go all the way back to 2010. And at that time, Randy and I were colleagues at Texas A&M International University. He's professor in special education, and I was a counselor education professor. And one of the classes that I was teaching at the time was group counseling. And so we were dealing with suicide and depression and anxiety, and working with clients, and how these graduate students would actually be intervening out there in the real world. And so we started looking at the suicide statistics, and without going into too much detail, one of the things that we realized was that the most current statistics showed that there were 31,034 completed suicides. And I think that was really for the 2009 statistics. And so we decided that we were going to do a logo walk, right, or logos walk. And what that was a walk to help people realize that life has meaning under all circumstances, even the crappy ones. And so this was going to be done on Suicide Awareness Day, which was it's always September the 10th. And so we did ours, I'm sorry, September 11th, because it was also the 9/11 day. So we wanted to do this as a suicide awareness walk, and especially for the survivors, the friends and the family and the people, who have actually survived in the wake of a completed suicide. And so we got the community involved in Laredo, Texas, and we had about 500 or 600 people that came out there to do this walk. And so the message was, you are irreplaceable. And that's where it really got its start. And from then, we go fast forward from 2010 all the way through until now. And if we look at those same kind of suicide statistics, and we're comparing the 2009 to the 2023 statistics, it went from 31,000. Now we are at the highest level in American history at over 50,000 completed suicides in 2023. So Randy and I believe that is totally unacceptable. It doesn't matter how much we work, toward suicide intervention and awareness. The numbers keep going up. So we've got this global initiative, and it's about letting every single person that we come across around the world, we can call it delusional if we want to, but 8 billion people on this planet need to hear the message, you are irreplaceable. And that's where we're starting with this podcast and our website and Facebook group and so on. We want you to be part of that. So, Randy, is that kind of an introduction to where we've been and where we're at?
That's a fair introduction, Trace. And if you notice, you caught me grinning just a little bit as you were sharing the introduction, and the reason why you saw that grin on my face was really because I was going back to the memory of that event, and uh, from my perspective, and Trace and I have been friends for a long time, and we both have had different focuses of doing different things in our careers, and have always been supportive of each other. Um, but there have been a few things along the way where there have been just absolute agreement. Our fields are related, but they're not directly related, but they are related. But this is not specific to a field. This is unless the field is humans,
Mhm.
and then it's specific to a field. And Trace and I both are in fields that deal with um, humans and human potential and finding ways for the people that we work with to reach their highest goals and dreams. Um, but I was grinning as you were talking because I remember the day of the event.
Yeah,
And but what I remember so vividly though are the t-shirts.
right.
Number one, that it's just fun to see a whole bunch of people in t-shirts that kind of match. But there were also groups of people in
Yep.
t-shirts
Right.
that didn't match the larger group. Uh,
Yeah.
and those groups were family groups or family and friend groups representing a person who had succumbed to suicide.
Yes.
They were there in memory of that individual and they were wearing a t-shirt in their memory.
Mhm.
And I didn't know all of those people that were there, and I don't know if you did, Trace. We knew a lot of them, but I mean, they were all somehow connected to us because they were either brought there by or informed by our students or the local media, or somehow they were informed of this event. I know many of them you talked with, but
Yeah, so you were talking about the about all the different t-shirts. I mean, there was a standard t-shirt that we had for the logo walk, and then there were all these other people that were, that were having family t-shirts, and they were walking for, somebody in particular that had completed suicide. Yeah.
and I'll just say that I didn't know all those people, and I didn't know the stories behind them, but I remember being moved by that and being uh, somehow wanting to be a part of the story and to know that and to be able to share that somehow. And I think that each one of those families that were there had that same feeling going on that day. They were there, they were able to help share their
Yeah.
story, and to share their story in a way to prevent that story from happening again. And so, Trace, I mentioned to you before, this is not a happy story,
Right.
but it is extremely hopeful. I, like you, am dumbfounded by the number of people who we see in the U.S. that this happens to every year, um, and then again, that the succeed rate, you can 25 times that number to get to the rate of people that attempt suicide.
Yep. Right.
And so when this number's growing, it really calls out to our spirits to say, what can we do? And I
Yes.
think that the pure message is exactly what you said, Trace. Uh, if I want to tell everyone
Yeah.
that you are irreplaceable, there is none on this planet like you. There is no one that will accomplish what you will accomplish. There is no one that will touch the lives that you will touch. You are irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Uh, and I want that to sink in deep to everyone that hears it. Uh,
Yeah.
I I don't want that despair of not knowing that to happen to another person.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the message of you are irreplaceable. It's a message of
Exactly.
hope.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, I just said it's a message of hope.
okay, yeah, and that's the thing. Had gone over across the state over to El Paso a couple days ago, and um, I had this card made up. I don't know if you can see that or not,
See
but
it.
it's a simple card. Yeah. You are irreplaceable, and then our website on there. And so what I was doing is every place that I went, I was handing out the card, and it became one of those just a conversation starter. I show them the card, and say, hey, when was the last time that someone told you you are irreplaceable? And it was real interesting to watch the reactions. It didn't matter whether it was a border patrol guy, you know, big guy, tough guy, or if it was, a young woman working, at a Starbucks. Everybody's eyes lit up, and it was like, man, nobody said that to me. And it's fascinating to me, sad and fascinating that we aren't letting more people know you're irreplaceable. And it doesn't matter, whether we've got, 5,000, Facebook friends out there, or if you're not on social media, right? Everybody has somebody that sees them as irreplaceable. But we are living in a society, in a world right now that treats people, I think, as a whole, as easily replaceable, as like the plastic water bottle that maybe is going to get recycled, but probably just thrown in the trash. And so we've got to break that mindset, right? Because people are internalizing that, and no matter what else is happening, they may believe that they've got friends and family, but they're not internalizing it themselves, is that they are irreplaceable. So I think that's part of what we're doing, not only with the consulting practice side of this, the business side, but more than that, it's the social impact side. If we don't get any clients off of it, it's not a problem. That's not the reason for this. The purpose for this is to have, this massive transformative purpose. It's not about just trying to, help one person to keep from, completing suicide. This is about sharing it with the entire world. That is the massive transformative purpose. Trying to do something about the mental illness crisis, which includes our current way of providing mental health services. That's the profession I've been in for 40 years. And I'm realizing we need to do something different. And the way of just diagnosing and providing a script for medication, obviously, if it was working, we wouldn't be seeing the numbers going in the direction that we are. So here, Randy and I are, we're just trying to say, look, two guys can do something, and if we have two more of you that are out there, and then we continue to spread this message, maybe collectively we can actually move, this suicide statistic in the right direction, not the wrong direction.
Amen. I think, you know
Yeah.
what, Trace, I don't know what those cards cost, but I'd like to get 8 billion of them printed. And
I know,
and
right?
I'd like somehow to get one in the hand of each person, but more importantly, I'd like for each person to be able to internalize that message. Um,
Exactly.
and if I could sit down with 8 billion people and tell them one on one, we would do that. But we can't do that. But we can create an army of like-minded people that will. And each one of us do our part to reach out to the people within our circle and just beyond, and then allow that to grow. I want to see people. I want to see people become serious about saving the lives of people who have lost hope. Uh,
Yeah.
I really do
Yeah.
become speechless when I think about this. And I know a lot of people do. You think about it and you think, how can someone get to that point? Well, here's the thing about it. Um, there, but for the grace of God, could be any one of us because you can slip
Yeah.
into that spiral so quick and so easy. Many of us are so
Yeah.
fortunate to have people around us every day who remind us of that. We're also fortunate because we don't have an illness. Um, but a lot of times, even a physical illness can put you in a spot where you begin to spiral into a place where it almost becomes not worth becoming.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter the scenario. There's so many and too many to really describe. The point being, just one hand to help lift someone out can change the world. And
Yep.
uh, it,
Yep.
it's like those stories about saving the starfish.
That's right.
You can save them all, but I can save this one.
Yep.
And when
That's
we
exactly right.
do that, and that's I think to me is what I want to see happen is I want to see a movement of people become interested in changing that statistic.
Right.
Uh,
Yep.
it-
Yeah. Yeah. We had talked about that too, possibly doing, another logo walk,
yeah,
doing that, and maybe again, if part of the purpose is to do one logo walk, maybe the massive transformative purpose is we do 1,000 of them all over the world, you
right.
know. And again, it's only delusional thinking, if you don't really believe that it's possible. I mean, we have a lot of different conversations and they go down different rabbit holes. But, before Roger Bannister, broke the 4 minute mile, everybody thought it was crazy, thought it was just delusional, or walking on the moon, or, the Wright brothers, I mean, it's just the list goes on and on. And that old saying is, anything is crazy, everything's delusional until the first person actually does something. And I think that was actually Einstein, that said that. But if we look at, we're not trying to follow, just the common wisdom of you have to have one particular subset of people, just one avatar. Well, to me, the one avatar is the human being, right? So it can be, it may sound delusional to think that that one starfish, that one human being that we are trying to prevent from becoming a suicide statistic, and on the back of our T-shirt, like we had in 2010, they could be anywhere. It's part of the 8 billion and counting people on the planet. But just like you said, it's starting with our immediate circle, and then going into that the 6 degrees of separation, right? The circle of friends. Well, if our circle of friends expands that to theirs and to theirs and theirs, we're only 6 degrees, or six friends away from reaching everybody on the planet.
That's right.
So, it's really, I mean, it's kind of a mathematical thing, it's exponential, and it's logarithmic because that's where the six comes from. So we've got the lowest common denominator, and then we've got the entire population. And so by just looking at, if you and I are on board with this, we couldn't be the only ones because we saw that we weren't the only ones in 2010 with the thing. And we know that there's a lot of people that are trying to do something with suicide awareness. The World Health Organization, is making it a big deal. But again, I go back to, I don't think it was Einstein that actually said this, but somebody said, that we can't solve, the problems that we've got using the same thinking that we use to get into the problems. And that is what I think that we're doing with the current mental health model that I've been a part of since the mid 80s when I came out of the military, is we're using the same kind of models, thinking that we're going to get different results. That is insane.
Right.
So, man, we got to do something different. And if it's a matter of we're letting people know individually and collectively, that's a good start. And then what do we do once we get into those situations where somebody says, no, I really do need some help, and somebody gets to them before they get to the point of no return. Because I know that things can spiral down really, really quick, but I've never seen anybody that I've worked with in suicide intervention that they just woke up one morning and said, I'm going to kill myself.
Right.
There were preconditions that were set up, right?
Right.
And so, usually some of us see something if we care to see, right? If we care to say, hey, you're irreplaceable, and then see what kind of reaction comes back. If we see somebody that starts tearing up when we tell them you are irreplaceable, that might be a reason for a conversation. Are they tears of joy? Are they tears of, I didn't know anybody cared,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, the whole thing that you and I both know, is just being fully present. If we could sit down with every single person on this planet and let them know they are irreplaceable, who knows? You know, could that save a person from the grief of, a grandmother's grief, of her grandson or granddaughter completed suicide, or a husband or a wife, a best friend, a brother or sister, you know? If we don't do something, who is?
That's right. And
Right?
uh, it's too late. I've
Yeah.
been informed. Now I have to.
Yeah. Right.
In fact, I can not respond.
Yeah.
I have to respond to this.
Yeah.
You can't read something like that statistic and not respond.
Yeah.
I I don't know how else to respond other than try
Yeah.
to do something. And I'm not saying it's brilliant.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But if nobody's
Yep.
told you that, you need to hear it.
Yeah.
Nobody's told you you are irreplaceable. You have to hear it. Because I know, Trace, and I know you know this, it is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
And I know that that's true. And it's true for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'll help them connect those dots to prove it.
Right.
I can help
Yeah.
them figure that out.
Yeah.
And but I need help. You need help.
Yeah.
We need help to get this.
Yeah.
Do we need help to change this? And
Yeah.
this, I think this has to change. I I
Right.
I don't want to I don't want to change the focus from hope, but I have to say, what have we lost? What we've lost is immeasurable.
Yeah.
Can't afford to lose more.
Yeah.
That's what's at stake for us. We have to
Right.
change.
Yeah. And the other part of that too is, we know that it is about prevention. Because if somebody were to call us right now on the phone while we're in the middle of this podcast and say, I'm at the bridge getting ready to jump off, the time for our kind of intervention is gone, right? I've been on those initial crisis interventions, and that's when the community mental health people need to be involved, right? We're doing something that is an alternative to that traditional model. But if we don't have an opportunity to kind of have a meeting of the minds and start talking about what these real world problems are that are leading a person to the thoughts of taking their own life. If we can't get through those, we can't do anything about helping them see their meaning, their passion, their purpose, and their potential, right? But we've got to be able to intervene soon enough where they don't go down that path of, again, being labeled a psychiatric patient and being medicated just to keep them level. I think we're really talking about they're almost not even complementary models anymore, only because I know both of them. I know the mental health model and I know this potential model. And they share some commonality, but they're not the same.
No.
And so yeah, so what we're doing and what we're proposing starting off with UR Irreplaceable is just the very beginning, the most fundamental level of what the interventions are that I believe are going to lead to a much lower number, than what we're seeing right now, at least getting the trend, going down instead of up.
Right.
You agree on that?
Agree, and that's what we need to see.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
yes. We want
So maybe,
zero.
yeah.
It's the number we want. But
Say it again.
we want zero. That's the
Zero, right.
that's
Yep.
the statistic we want. But
Yep.
we're going to accept a trend headed that way. So that's
Yeah.
what we're working towards.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Our problem didn't start overnight, and it's not going to be, I mean, unless there's some kind of divine intervention, it's not going to be solved overnight. But again, my point is simply if we just continue to use the same model without letting people know that there's an alternative, well, we shouldn't be surprised then if those numbers continue to go up and they go up exponentially because our world is getting more stressful rather than less,
That's right.
you know. And we're even living in a country right now, that is pretty well polarized, and the stress level, the perceived stressors, getting ready for an election and for all of the other problems we've got. The the pressure cooker is tuning up.
Yes.
And so there's going to be more unless we can intervene, even starting with one, and then two and three, and we can show success. We can show the efficacy of what it is that we're proposing. And again, we just go back to the foundation. If we don't agree that every single person is irreplaceable, then whatever the techniques or the intervention, the coaching, consulting, whatever it is, the training that we do will be for nothing because we've lost the foundation of why we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll take divine intervention too.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please. But and actually, in all seriousness, we can't do this by ourselves.
No.
I think almost anyone who would come from any faith tradition would say the same thing. I happen to be a Christ follower, and I know that my little bit of intervention is nothing. Whatever we do collectively is nothing. We need divine intervention. And actually, I think it's probably a good point that you brought up on that, Randy, is for anybody that might be watching this now or in the future, realize that if you don't want God or the transcendent involved in whatever the interventions are that we're doing, don't come, because that is an integral part of it. Because neither Randy or I are good enough to be able to solve the problems of this world. Right. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. That's a great point.
We always look to higher power.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. But that's pretty much what I wanted to mention for this first introductory podcast, and just inviting anybody and everybody to come in to be part of it. And like you say, we've got UR Irreplaceable Facebook group that's just starting. We've got the website, the YouTube channel, and whatever other channels we can come up with. We just want to get the message out there. And if any of you or all of you can become force multipliers with us, that's all the better. So,
That's right.
Randy, you have any other thoughts?
You know, no, Trace, I want everyone to take blessings from this discussion and to please join us in this effort and to watch and to help and to plan with us. Maybe you want a logo walk in your area.
Yeah,
Uh, maybe you want to get some cards made of your own. Maybe we need some t-shirts, whatever it might be. We're here to
yeah,
help,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we're here to accept help. So please join us in an effort, and we will welcome you as brothers and sisters in making a difference. But I'll
Yeah.
send you away with
Yeah.
blessings, Grace. And I'll
All
see
right, sounds
you.
good. Likewise. Sounds good. Adios all. See ya.